All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Late Night on Base. I am your friend, your host, the man who did get a haircut. For the longest time, I did not get a haircut, but I had to look good. I'm Bill, Buildable, back at it. Another edition of Late Night on Base. Once again, we are a show that's across many chains. We talk AI, we talk apps, we talk tech, we talk on-chain. So it's nice to have you. As always, this episode and all the episodes for this month is brought to you by Send, peer-to-peer cash sent digitally all around the world with privacy features built in. Download the app in your iOS store today. Also, we got our supporting sponsors. We got BV7X and we got Bankers. Shout out to them. All right, already 72 people tuning in. Great. You know, now the market sucks. So let's not even talk about it. Yeah, Bitcoin's dropping crazy. You know, one day the market's going to go up. I don't know when. But you know one thing, though. Unlike other years, people are building some really dope shit across all chains, even if you're not in crypto. I mean, listen, Cursor got acquired by SpaceX for 60 billion. Shout out to those kids from MIT. I wish I had a time machine and I was their friend. They are just multi-billionaires. Markets there. Tech is building. Tech is bubbling. Prices haven't really caught on. Yes, I get it. One day, though. But unlike years past, the technology in this space is just skyrocketing. L1's doing great. AI, consumer apps, tech. So our goal in Late Night on Base, as always, is to spotlight builders. Bring distribution to builders, because the builders that are building now, I'm telling you, man, when the market hits up and we start getting all this liquidity flowing back into the market, these builders are going to win. And they're just great stories. So I'm excited to that's what I do on Late Night on Base. And actually, one of the things that we've been working on this month, really highlighting the Avax ecosystem. We've interviewed quite a bit of Avax projects. And again, shout out to the Arena. We love the Arena. The Arena is great. We had Jason on, who's the founder of the Arena, and that's like a multi-purpose type platform on Avax. One of the things you could do is live stream. So I want to highlight it. And yeah, I think Avax has the ability to be a very prominent L1. But it's not there yet. And so I think one of the important things to do is kind of get perspectives of builders on Avax. And without being said, I think it's time to bring up a builder on Avax as we say that. Wrath Tank, welcome to the show, my friend. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to be on. Pleasure to have you. It's always great. Like I said to you backstage, I made a tweet earlier in the month, June, I think, or end of June, or end of May, and I was like, all right, Avax, I need to know more people. I need to know who should we talk to. And dude, you were brought up quite a bit. Tell me about you, man. Tell me about you. Who is Wrath Tank?
All right. Well, I'm a recovering tax accountant. I did tax accounting for about 10 years and came over into the crypto scene around 2021. Danced around in the Shiba Inu ecosystem, got rents there, moved to Algorand, nothing was going on, and I fell in love with the NFTs of Avalanche. And so after a few years, I jumped into more communities within the NFT verse and kind of established myself over the past couple of years. I mean, I've been here for about 4 years. And over that course, we ran a big DAO that received funding through the Avalanche Avasance program. And after that, started my own NFT collection and then kind of graduated it to what I am currently like is my passion is indie games. And so I run an indie game layer one on Avalanche called The Grotto, where it's similar to like an itch.io or a Good Old Games, where anyone can put up Unity, Unreal, or WebGL games and have them hosted directly on the internet and hosted on my own blockchain called The Grotto as well, that uses a native token that I created called Heresy, and people can host games and use a whole backend that's not interrupted by anything else.
Interesting. Okay, a lot to digest there. Lot going on. Okay, so you come from a non-crypto background. I think all of us. You said accounting, right? It's funny. Like,
Yes, yeah.
would you still do accounting? Are you full-time crypto now?
I
Or?
I did 10 years of accounting, had a kid, and tax season kind of took about 4 months away out of my, kids growing up. And so I was like, screw this. So now I'm just a director and make sure people get paid and do little admin work. And it's cush and it's nice and I enjoy it.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I always joke like I have pre-life crypto. Like
Mm.
I was an attorney, licensed and all that. So
Yeah.
I come from that background
JD,
as
all
well.
that fun stuff. Yeah.
All that fun stuff. And then now here I am just putting that aside to just interview people. So it's fun space. So all right, you
Oh,
went
yeah.
from there and then you got into interesting. So you were brought into Avax through NFTs. Talk to me about that real quick. That's interesting to me because 2021 cycle, I was around. For those that don't know, NFTs were just like all the talk. You had Bored Apes, you had,
Yeah.
crypto punks, but a lot of it was on ETH. And so I'm surprised Avax. What was the Avax NFT scene back then?
It started off with Chicken, where they distributed a token if you held the NFT and you played a little website game with it. And then I fell in love with Trader Joe had the JoePegs platform, and they had a JoePeg summer, and I fell in love with the Chad Doge. It was like, just cute dog PFPs and everything like that. And then the Mad Skulls, which was a French gaming company that was doing like profile pictures. And again, I come from Algorand where there was nothing going on. And a buddy of mine was kind of into the ETH scene and it was out of my price range at that time.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I would like to dabble in some collectibles. And so I just saw this stuff on Avalanche and I got really impressed by it because it was the only other L1 that I had seen that had, actual quality art, had some actual projects behind it, not just people throwing some stuff up on an NFT marketplace where that didn't really have much traction. So it was an actual collectible ecosystem, it felt like.
Interesting. So what, I guess, so that was your foray. What's the NFT scene? Okay. Again, we're going to talk all about the grotto and stuff but I'm
Yeah,
very
no,
curious.
that's fine. Yeah.
But what's the NFT scene like right now? Obviously, NFT scenes are down everywhere. Is that the same also for the Avax NFTs community?
Yes and no. So, like, of course, the mass majority of them are because that's the nature of the game. But there are a few like No Chill or No Chilios, Salvors, and then you're kind of starting to see where projects are using NFTs as like this is a way to be a part of the project, and it's not necessarily a speculative profile picture ecosystem anymore. And I mean, I'm a part of that too. The Grotto is a marketplace for NFTs on that side of the gate, and most of my success in selling NFTs and creating NFTs are now in consumables or skins, weapon skins, or access passes. Like the entire thing runs on 1155s as game licenses. So, and my profile picture are going to be are one of one game skins in a new game that's coming out. So, and then we have Bears and Salmon is a big one that came out of the arena, and they have profile pictures and NFTs that are going on their River Run game right now, and then they have other stuff going on. So, it's doing well, but it's different from what I'm saying. Now, is it like the crazy, huge, hyper speculative thing? No, but that's not going on anywhere right now anyway.
Do you ever see that speculative nature coming back across any chain with NFTs?
It depends. I think it depends on who's doing it. I think the days of just like random NFT project is minting everyone, hop in to see if they can do a quick 2 to 3x. I don't see that happening anymore because more people are traumatized or,
Yeah.
they've been through it enough. Now, if the brand is good, and it and it has potential for growth, yes. But just like, oh, there's a new mint on XYZ exchange. That part, I mean, it sketches me out. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't jump in straight away. I would need to at least see, like, does this have any traction in the community at the very least, in that sense, because it feels very tribal on L1s right now. So if like community buy-in isn't there, then I'm kind of like,
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the 986 people live currently tuning in late down base. We have a bunch of comments here. This one seems interesting. Study more is basically saying, as an accountant, this is really inspirational. I'm gonna get working on my Web3 dreams. Is this a true story, or is this
he
real?
is an accountant. He
Yeah.
is a accountant in the community, and he's actually a character in my universe and my games that I release. And he's a very funny guy. If you go through his feed, he's probably one of the funniest guys on Avalanche.
That's hilarious. And then also Nochilio mentioned, I think Avax Jesus, if you're listening, I think you have a Nochilio profile. I don't know.
He
Avax
does.
Jesus. Yeah,
He
yeah.
does.
Avax
He's
Jesus.
actually done. He's done work for them too, like doing their leaderboards or other items like that. If I'm not speaking out of turn there, I'm pretty sure he's been pretty involved and does really, really good developer work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, shout out to Avax Jesus. He's been I've known him for a while. Like I had a creator coin on Zora last year and he was a
Yeah,
supporter. So shout out to you, man.
yeah,
An OG across multiple chains. All right. And then this is interesting, and I want to now start about this. The Grotto seems like a great place for a new creator such as myself to grow my wings. Let's talk the Grotto because, like I said, when I first come in, I made a message to Vo. Who the hell do I talk to? I don't know any. I knew
yeah.
literally Avax Jesus, bro. I literally knew Avax Jesus and no one else.
It's in
And a
his
lot of
name.
people, oh, he's a G. But
Yes.
yeah, a lot of people were like, you need to talk to Rat Tank because of the
Yeah.
Grotto. So now let's talk, bro. What is
Yeah.
the Grotto?
So it is an indie game marketplace and incubator. I host game jams. I host indie games. I'm a big horror guy. I love indie horror games, 10 to 15 minute experiences. I can slam those kind of games out pretty well, and I'm working on a very large open world game that should be coming out in the next 2 weeks called Bob's Petroleum. And all of my games and everyone else's games that they want to can be hosted on my platform and played directly on the platform. We also are releasing our own standalone app. So it is a service that'll run in your taskbar and give you notifications. It's got games, NFTs, profile pictures, everything under that sun can be done, along with 1155 editions. So we've had a lot of artists kind of embrace that were on Avalanche doing 101s, and they're doing editions now. And we also have a pretty substantial social platform. So you have a feeds similar to like Reddit. Every game that gets created gets its own forum. You can launch tokens directly from the platform, and you can add friends. There's achievements, all that fun stuff. I'm just trying to be a bigger itch.io in this sphere because we were missing indie games pretty substantially, and we would have people coming in with AAA titles that were trying to gain a big audience, and I was like, Web3 really doesn't feel like AAA or AAA games are embraced in Web3 too much. One out of maybe 20 will do really well, and indie games never really got touched, and so that was something that I really wanted to get involved with and jump on and be like, I like indie games. Let's try and push that through and throw a little bit of Web3 in the mix with it. And so that's where the dream and the execution came from. And we competed in the Build Games event and on
Third
Avalanche
place, right?
earlier this year.
Is that
Third
where you got the
place.
congrats?
Yeah, yeah, thank you, man. That was a huge accomplishment for me because I got in front of like a bunch of suits and people that I definitely had to sell this idea on, and was able to pull out third out of that, which was a very big confidence booster for
Was
sure
is
heading
Bill
into
Games
Xperia.
is Bill Games like a Avax type?
It
I don't
was like a
know.
hackathon, like
Interesting.
Avalanche hackathon, where it was like, bring your idea. What are you building? What are you doing? And you could receive funding pretty much competing against other projects that were going in. So I
So
lost to an AI company and a big credit lending company, which was crazy to be, up there. There's two people that probably, are much bigger than me, and then I'm just sitting there going,
Wow,
It's me and
that's
indie games, you know.
that's a huge accomplishment. Does that lead did it lead to funding for you guys?
Yeah, we received half of it. We have a few milestones to finish up this month. Would our date to get it done is later this year, but we're actually on par to get done. I'm getting MoonPay integrated because I want more credit card processing to help onboard, because I want it to be seen as not like, oh, you have to buy a crypto and then bridge. I would rather you buy a crypto and it's like buying Xbox store credits, and it just has a value that you can cash out. And then I have my big game that's coming out at the end of this month, probably around Fourth of July, truly. And what else? Oh, and our standalone app. So I'm trying to get onto the Microsoft Store. That may not happen. We may just have a straight installation link, but having something that actually feeds you notifications, you don't have to open a browser. That is the goal right now over the next few weeks.
Wow, very interesting. So, talk to me then about crypto gaming in general. What's your general thesis of it? Obviously, it hasn't found across any chain, really, it hasn't found, I
Yeah,
mean, Axie Infinity 2021, everyone was talking about it. But since then, I mean, there hasn't been that go-to game. Do you think, like, what's your overall thesis? As because I've talked to many gaming projects, everyone just says too early. Web 2 people hate crypto. What is your thesis as to crypto gaming?
I'm a much more conservative guy on this, and I'm mostly in between the two uh, points. I think that a game is not going to make you a millionaire if you play it. I think there is value to bring to players that is typically locked away in funny money on regular games. But I think the what I really embraced was buying games and buying assets with cryptocurrency and using those assets and having the ability to exit, to leave. Like if you play the game, you get the legendary skin. There has value in that NFT. If there's a token, I'm using tokens as battle pass points. So there's a app called Moats on Avalanche. Highly recommend talking to Alex Miner. He is a smart guy, and what people will
Alex,
do
if you're
is
listening, hit me up.
they they will do staking on the moats and earn points. They can redeem points for, I have custom Pokemon card packs, slabs, and more of the token, uh, and sponsored drops. I feel like emission games is what hurt Web3 gaming the most. Like it was just here's a token that's going to emit forever, and the only value is if people keep buying in. I think that's a recipe for disaster on my end. I'm just one guy, but I would rather buy, collectibles for games that I like, or buy in-game currency that I could eventually just cash out. But I'm not looking for an intrinsic value when I play my games. It's just nice to have if you play and you get something special and you could cash out, sort of like buying a Pokemon card pack or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Shout out that. By the way, 1798 people tuning in live late now.
wow.
This with Wrath Tank. We do it big. We do it big, bro. Here on the show. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. We do
Yeah.
get
No, it's nice.
well.
My streams are few hundred, so that's
Hey, but
great.
one thing I've noticed is your community is like lit, man. They really like
Yeah.
you. I don't know if they have like a
Oh,
crush
well,
on
I
you, but
appreciate
like
that.
they definitely are showing some love in the chat right now.
Oh, great.
A lot of people are asking or talking about moats. Moats, the goats. Moats. We love the moats. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate again what moat is? Moats are.
It's pretty much a staking platform that founders can spin up, and they don't have to build their own staking platform. And it creates a way to distribute stuff to holders of tokens or anything really. They'll build whatever you want. But so if I was an NFT guy and I had no resources and I just wanted to release an NFT that had staking and launch a token with it, I wouldn't have to build out this whole thing to distribute rewards to my holders. I could use moats, and they were happy enough to bring it over to the grotto for me, and so I'm using it as a way to advertise. There was two reasons why I did it: one, for me, and then two, I wanted to give game developers on my platform an easy way to kind of integrate Web3 into their games without having to be like, well, I made this game, now I have to make a whole website or whatever. It's like, stake your whatever currency or NFT that you want over on moats, and it's just a few clicks to set up like a staking portal. And so it's nice to have
Interesting.
that for those guys, especially these smaller indie devs. I mean, it may just be one guy. I mean, I make all my games just me, and I have one other dev that is helping me build the grotto. He is ridiculous. He does super well, but there's only so much of us. So I'm
Sure.
trying to make it easy for people to onboard, get it started in Web3 gaming, and start doing stuff.
Yeah, no, that's phenomenal. By the way, guys, please, I see some people reposting the stream. Please, as many people can repost the stream. Let's get more attention on Wrath Tank and the Grotto, and that always helps the numbers of the show. Okay, so now, Wrath, I want to talk a little bit more of a serious topic because this show is naturally about curious minds getting more attention to the AVAX ecosystem. Because one of the things that
Yeah,
I've learned, because prior to a month ago, I honestly knew nothing about. I knew Avax Jesus. That's it. I didn't really know
yeah,
anything going on at Avax, but I noticed that they were making the move to institutional involvement with corporations, and it made sense. And so now I'm starting to talk to builders. You've made it your career now to plant yourself in the Avax
yeah,
ecosystem. You
yeah,
could have built the grotto somewhere else, but you chose it. In your
yeah.
opinion, what is it that AVAX needs to get on the radar of more people in this industry? Because right now it's not. What do you think
Right.
is missing in the AVAX ecosystem?
I think it is going to be a balance of the institutional side that they're doing, which I agree with. That we do need institutions, we need payment rails, we need all the support throughout all this, and bringing in consumers to apps. And that kind of a lot of times falls on us as builders that are creating these apps, because you see these bigger apps like Courtyard and everything going on Polygon, but like we need something of that nature. And thankfully, we actually have a new like gotcha PSA graded Pokemon card pack opening thing called Your Grails from Trading Aloha and
Who's coming up
CG
next?
Stats.
Who's coming up
Yeah,
next?
great, perfect. So like that system will bring users on, and it just takes mind share on social media, especially X. I feel like X got kind of pushed to the side in a lot of these L1s as they were starting to like focus really hard on institutions. And you can see other chains are kind of doing the same and trying to win that race. So that's their main focus right now. And I feel like as that is the main focus of these bigger, entities that are helping fund the chain, the community really has to push good consumer apps, because as people are seeing it, we need something that garners attention. And I'm hoping I'm one of those, but it takes other apps to really make an ecosystem. And so I think we're on a good trajectory for that. It comes in ebbs and flows. I've seen the lowest points, I've seen the highest points, and it always comes down to how much fun the community is having on that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think the community needs to have fun. And in order for the community to have fun, there need to be builders who build things that allow the
Yeah,
community to have fun. And it's simple as that. And I think this is a good comment that Crypto Wizard Foundation backed incentives to builders and users on the chain, big
yeah,
incentives to get people to bridge over. I absolutely agree with that. And the reason I agree is because if you're a crypto participant, like you said, you weren't initially an AVAX, but you saw NFTs have its run and you bridged over. It's the same thing
yeah,
with other people. A lot of people are chain agnostic. They just want to go where there's something to do.
yeah.
And they
I've
just
seen that a lot.
yeah, and they're not maxis. I'd be very hard pressed to find a chain maxi. And no, most people will go where there's things to do. Now, if you in order but the thing is like say for instance, Wrath, you were given well, maybe if you're a builder, it's one thing. If you're a builder, you planted your seed,
Yeah,
you're that makes sense. You have to be on this chain that you built on. But if
well, of
you're
course.
yeah, if you're an investor, you're a trader, you're going to go where there's opportunity to have it. And so you need to have incentives for builders to want to build some great stuff. So I
Mhm.
do agree with that. Do you think AVAX has what do you think is missing then from a builder standpoint? Do you think they need to have more incentives? Like you're a builder, you've gotten grants. Do you think
Yep.
you're one of the few that have seen the opportunity? When do you think other builders will come onto this chain?
I saw the most diverse group in that build games. I love build games as an
Yeah.
event. Everything that is done always gets critiqued, so I understand it. But and the top 20 people got funding of some sort from that. So it was pretty much the people that actually had a working product that was like halfway decent or whatever. There was incentive thrown to them. Now it's a dangerous game throwing money at everyone
Sure.
because there's always someone that takes money and then doesn't do anything. And I feel like that's where a lot of these bigger folks are burned out on. Like, oh, we just gave 50 grand to this guy and he's not really doing anything about it. There's not really anything to prop himself up on, and the community didn't embrace it at all. I mean, it's a cool idea, but it's all about execution. And so I mean, yes, I think we just need more of those type of competitions or more ways to kind of show off in a bigger spotlight of what's happening, which is why I'm on your show and kind of why I like to think of stuff like that and try and push myself into places to say, hey, here's my thing. Please come do it. Come test it, play with it.
Yeah. I believe this is Avax Jesus. If the chain fails to capture the hearts of
Free
retail,
agent chain.
it's difficult. It really is difficult. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
if a chain is only as good as both the builders and the retail users, but you have
Yeah.
to have retail. And I think it goes in ebbs and flows. I think you're right. Like for instance, base.
Yeah.
I'm very well familiar with base. I've started my roots there. They had an issue where it's like they have the best build. They have great builders, but if you only focus on that and you don't care about the retail, like
Mm-hmm.
cool, like good luck. You have just a circle jerk of great builders. And so you have to make sure that the retail feels love too. And that's through innovation,
Yeah.
like collectibles, whether it's your, your L1, the grotto, give
Yeah.
people something to do, the arena, and then they'll come. So I do agree with that. And I think, like I said, I want to speak to Vo. I want to speak to the AVAX management because I feel like, if it wasn't for shows like this, like I wouldn't have, like from the outside, I would have not known you. Like
Yeah.
I'm now more bullish on AVAX because builders like you exist. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the
Yeah. No,
you're
I
great in your
appreciate that.
office, but we need to be able to amplify builders. We need to be able to like let the outside world know what's being built. So I think that
Yeah.
makes sense. And maybe late night AVAX needs to be a thing. Vo, if you're listening, late night on AVAX sounds cool.
There
You
you
see how
go.
it says late night on base? Let's replace that with AVAX.
And
Last
red.
word in red, bro. It'll be
And red.
bright
Make it
red,
red. Make it red.
bro. It'll
Yes.
be bright red. Let's go. All right. So the last question before we have to wrap it up.
Okay.
Where do you see the grotto in 1 year? Now that you're building in a bear, what are some milestones? What is your North Star 1 year from now?
Yeah.
What would you like to see?
I would like to see the L1 have more. Right now, we have 1,000 users. I would like to see 10,000 users. I would like to see more game developers coming over that are both building in Web 2 and Web 3. I should be fairly easy for both to jump in. My big open world games, I hope that people can embrace them and join in. And I would hope to have a full scale app that has users getting notifications using the social platform, and eventually, hopefully, get a persistent online game that people can really enjoy on the platform, and have just a renaissance of indie games in Web3 where any chain bridge can bridge over and they can play games with us.
Dude, I love it. And I also love this comment. We should tag Vo, y'all. Yes, tag her because she needs to know that we bring bangers on
Yes,
Late Night on
after
Base and we
banger.
bring amazing guests like Wrath Tank. Wrath Tank, we
Yeah.
have 2,800 plus people tuning in. Any last words, man, for the community? Also, by the way, we're going to put this episode eventually on Spotify
Yeah.
so more people outside the AVAX community gets to know you, and we'll have a few clips. Any last words, bro?
Just if anyone wants to embrace the grotto, please join in and I will tip you gas, show you some games. We have an active Discord. I'm here to help. I'm here to assist with making games and getting your dreams to come true. And while you make a game and create, all I want you to do is create. So that's what I'm here for.
Wrath Tank, I really appreciate this convo. I don't want our
Yeah.
relationship to end here. Please
No.
let me help you in any way. If there's anything I could do, any spotlight of builders, some of these indie devs. Hey, if you find
Yes,
someone
sir.
who's great, please send my way because again, Late Night on Base is here for one thing and one thing only: is bring distribution to amazing builders building on any chain. My friend, thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, that was Wrath Tank for the crowd. Jesus, what a community! What a community! You guys are going crazy for him. I like it. I like it. This is the type of energy. But remember to tag Vo. Vo, if you're listening, you guys got some builders. You guys got some builders. Once again, shout out to the arena, Elric, as always. Amazing. I don't think you've missed a show yet. Appreciate you. Let's see. We're gonna bring up Trading Aloha in a second. This episode again is brought to you by Send. Peer-to-peer cash sent digitally all around the world. Privacy features built in. Download the app in your iOS store today. Let's before we bring him up, let's got to play a quick word from our sponsor because your boy Bill has to pay the bills. So 1 second while we play it.
Aphrodite, Ventusca, Osteonisus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, Narcissus, Medusa, Ephasos, Ashalalala, Susus, Minerva, Incubus. I love it when you couscous. Aphrodite, Ventusca, Osteonisus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus,
Not gonna lie, that is a banger commercial clip that we play on every show. If you are the presenting sponsor of Late Night on Base, good things happen. Good things happen. But yes, 3,100 people tuning in live Late Night on Base. Let's keep it going. Let's bring some more Avax people up. Let's go. Let's bring up Trading Aloha. My friend, how are you?
Bill, how you doing?
I am well. Are you calling from the beautiful state of Hawaii?
I am. It's hard to follow Wrath, and that was a banger music on that ad though. So it got me pumped.
Yeah, man. Well, pleasure to come on. I was telling Raph too, when I first kind of as an outsider a few weeks ago, saying like, who do I talk to on this chain called Avax? The community responded, Vote responded, a bunch of people responded, and you, my friend, were high on the list. So talk to us, man. Who is Trading Aloha?
It's been a journey, and first I want to thank the community for always showing up. I mean, we've always been through a lot, and there's a lot of guys in the chat that have been here 4 or 5 years, and it's great to see everyone in a positive mood. But my journey into crypto it's an interesting angle how I got here. I was in the military for 21 years on the special ops side back in like 2014, 15ish. I was doing like illicit money transfers, following terrorist financing and all sorts of crazy stuff, and led me to Bitcoin because they were using Bitcoin at the time to move some money around in the early stages. And I was like, cool, I'll do this for a job. But like started to fall in love with the tech and the capability to disrupt traditional finance. And I was like, this is awesome. So in 2016, 17, I started building my own Ethereum miners, getting involved in the early ICO scene. In 2017, I was all over the Bitcoin talk forums, trying to figure out what was the right thing to do. I started writing like my own, like how to stay safe, how to create wallets, how to mine, how to move money from DEXs to DEXs efficiently through 2017 and 2018. Found my way over to Avax during the NFT craze, similar to Wrath. I just didn't really have the funds to support $1,000, $2,000 and potential gas fees getting burned trying to mint something. And I saw someone mentioned Avax during DeFi summer, and when Axie Infinity was kicking off, they had a game similar called Crabata, and that was the game that blew up on Avalanche. I think in November of, I think it was 21 or 22. The years all start to blend together. But I got heavily involved in that. Started creating content, hosted a daily spaces on the most efficient ways to play the game, build your team, do the breeding, all that stuff. It was just fantastic. And from there, got involved with Avalanche and started making video and gaming content for them for about a year. Did a brief stint at Ava Labs on the gaming team, working with Coop for about 8 months before the bear of 23, I think, 22. And then from there, just went back into the community, started working, doing consulting on marketing support for a bunch of different projects, NFT projects. Took some time off, and then came back about a year ago and took a position as the growth marketing lead for a marketing agency that supported a bunch of different chains and different projects, from TGE support to just regular marketing, social, community support. And during that time, we started talking. A bunch of us on Avax started talking like we should have a collectibles platform. And it's unfortunate that we didn't. And it took us about 8 months to get the right people in place with the right network and connections. And all the things that we needed and really get a really solid dev on board to build, which we do. I think we have one of the best devs in the game on the team. And then build games kicked off, and similar to Wrath, we were like, if we could show out and build games and build something that people want, people love, and we could get some funding, we can get it off the ground. Besides, we bootstrapped half the collection ourselves, and it took off. And the community showed up. We launched last week in a closed beta. We decided, we would just invite 15 people to check it out, give them a code, let them play around, give us some data, tell us what we need to fix. That quickly blew up into 114 users in about 24 hours of uptime spread across 4 days. And we sold out every day in a couple of hours. And now we're scrambling and inventorying, sourcing 24 hours a day until we can get back up and running. But honestly, like the support we've seen over the last week has been simply amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, number one, I just want to say thank you for your service. Seriously, that's this country is not the same without people who serve like you. So number one, thank you on that. Number two, okay, a lot is talking. We're going to talk Grails. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about kind of like you got, again, same story, 2021, you said you got into Avax and you kind of never left in a way. So what was it that, because you were somebody who was brought on chain because of the fun going on, which is kind of relating to our discussion earlier, what's going to get Avax to be outside, to get more interest from people outside. But instead of just going in and then leaving when the party stops, you stayed. So what was it about Avax that just kind of like made you realize, hey, this is where I want to like plant my flag, so to say, in crypto?
Yeah, so honestly, like it all boils down to the community. And I know that there's always the meme, like as the bear markets go, like it's the people we met along the way. It's not about the money we lost. But it truly is. I mean, honestly, I've made so many good connections, friends, just people that I really vibe with in the ecosystem that like I use it as a hub and spoke. Like I love Avalanche and that's my base. And obviously that's what we're building. And obviously there is no chain maxis anymore, which is a great thing because eventually everything's cross chain. But I feel like this is home, and I love to visit other chains and use other projects and use other protocols. But I always come back here because the support and the people and just the community is fantastic.
Yeah, I think, like I said, coming from the outside looking in, what strikes me is just truly this tight-knit community that you can't really teach. Community is probably the most important thing for any project, obviously, or any chain. Without a community, you're nothing, straight up. But it seems like a very close-knit family that is in it together. And early days, it reminds me very similar to like base in a way, back in the early days where it was just like so like tight, and then boom, then it expands. So makes sense. All right, so now you have planted yourself on Avax. You said you were a part of Avalanche. What exactly was Avalanche?
Yeah, Avalanche was a platform that had their own DEX, and they offered all sorts of token launches, like a token launch platform. But they also had investments in a couple of gaming protocols. So they're a pretty large platform in Avalanche back in 2021, 22. So I was doing a lot of video content on the games that had token support on their platform.
Got it. Okay, so now planted it. It's funny, and the community trauma bonded from Free Agent J.
So true. It's so true.
It's actually hilarious. I can see that. Okay, so now we talk collectibles, because to me, I'm very bullish on collectibles. Actually, before I even got you on the show, I didn't realize that Grails was a thing, and that's you're building the collectibles on Avax. I want to know your thesis. So for me, I think collectibles represents two things: fun and nostalgia. I think a lot of people who are older remember the days. I'm 41. I remember when I was a child, I would look through sporting cards. I'm not a Pokemon guy. That's just not my thing, but I love sports cards. Back then, pre-internet, basically, we had something called a Beckett. You would look through and see how much it was worth. It was so cool. And it's just like, and we had Pogs, we had a bunch of things. That reminds me of those days, and you're tapping into that culture. And again, people can make money, people can own it. It's fun and it's unique. It gives something to do. What is your thesis, Trading Aloha? Why are you so bullish on collectibles in general?
Yeah, so I'm the same story as you. I grew up in that same era. I was a Magic the Gathering guy initially, and that's what got me into collectibles. I played it very competitively for many years, and then got big into sports, and then transitioned to Pokemon. And in the last like 10 years or so. But for me, it's like I feel like we're still sitting in the 2005 era when it comes to infrastructure for collectibles. There used to be like those, like you said, look through Beckett. There's small like niche groups doing certain collectibles in different areas, and they all operate kind of in a silo. But we're slowly starting to see that come on chain and allow accessibility to pretty much anyone and everywhere and anywhere. So you're giving access to something that people want. It's popular. And everyone from a 10-year-old to a 40, 50-year-old are still into collectibles. So you're giving access to this huge range of people that's already doing hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue per year, and we're just really entering year 2 here when we talk about RWA collectibles on chain. So I think we're just basically blockchain is fixing what people already love, and it gives them an opportunity to not only like get the card, show off the card, but also keep the card safe. Like if you want to have it insured and stored somewhere and you've got a valuable collection, you can do that. You don't have to worry about theft, fire, flood, your kid spilling grape juice all over your grail card or your binder. And then you at any point you want to redeem it, you can, and you can send it back and have it vaulted and stored again. So you have the ability to just make sure that you're not overexposed or over leveraged. If you're really into collecting and you have this huge collection of hundreds of thousands of dollars, you probably don't want it sitting in your closet somewhere where something can happen to it. You'd prefer to have it insured similar to a safe deposit box. And I think that part in itself is a whole separate arena of collectibles. And then you've got the ripping and sourcing. And at some point, we've already started to see the lending and taking collateral against your collectible is starting to become quite popular. So, I mean, we're still so early in the stages of collectibles as RWAs.
So right now, then on your site, explain to me how everything operates. So you're able to, are you able to rip packs on your own, or is it just buying? Like, say, do you offer the ability for someone to pay X amount of money, rip some sort of pack, and then you can also then redeem it for physical card. You can also lend against it. Talk to me how Grails works from the beginning.
Yeah. So our initial launch, we wanted to launch with 3 things. One was ripping, the ability to rip a $50 and $100 Pokemon pack is where we were going to start. We're also going to have the marketplace where you can list, buy, sell, trade, and then the pack battles, which we wanted to add as a unique layer where you could rip against somebody. And not only do you keep the card regardless of the outcome, the winner gets an additional pack and can be pulled from that same pool. So it's a little bit of an engaging social shareable moment that can help create these viral content clips, as well as trying to get other people exposed and get them interested. Outside of that, we're still working on finalizing the deal with our vaulting and insurance companies. So that way we can offer redemptions. We can't offer redemptions yet because it just doesn't make sense scalability wise to do it the way we're doing it. But it's coming within the next couple of weeks. We also we already offer lending. You can collateralize against the cards you have on the site. That is live and will be improved. Currently, we are sold out because we had so much demand and support from the community that we just could not source enough cards to continue to stay open. We had the $50 and $100 packs to start. On day 1, we burned through everything in 2 hours and had to shut down. Ended up spending the next 24 hours basically me buying every card that was available on the island here, and then one of our other co-founders just scouring everywhere he could to source, and then we can only get enough to get the $50 pack up and running, and that continued to sell out.
What do you I guess attribute the success and the demand on day 1, especially if like your beta was kind of small, but yet you obviously killed the numbers. What do you attribute the success to?
Yeah, honestly, it's a couple of things. One is the support from the community, the interest in collectibles as a whole, and just giving them something fun to do with the potential to have grow their collections or potentially make money. The second thing would be that just the space in itself is just so popular that by nature, there's people looking for new sites to try, better odds, more transparent odds, which is, I think, one of the most important things that your Grails is going to offer and will always offer. When you look at some of the other gotcha sites available, they present the odds to you in a way that it's just a static display, and you don't really know if you're actually pulling against those odds, and you have no way to verify that that's happening. The one thing we wanted to ensure that we did when we built the platform was that we used a transparent process so people could verify not only their pulls, but any pull on the site, which is why we went with Chainlink VRF. So every single pull is always public, transparent, and the odds update in real time. So every time someone pulls a card, the odds are auto-adjusted on the site. So you're not ever wondering if you're really pulling against those odds.
Interesting. Let's actually pull up the site. I'm very curious to see this, and I want the currently we're live late night on base with Trading Aloha. We have 3,300 plus people tuning in. Okay, so let's see this. Let's see this. Gonna pull it up. As you guys say, digital packs backed by real cards with online battles, bringing them to life. Open, collect, compete. Okay. Let's see. Trading Aloha. Let's see. What do we have here, sir? Let's see. 1 second. All right. All right. So I'm a new user. I come in.
Yep.
Boom. Rip pack. Open. Get started. So, okay. UIFC connect the wallet. That's how you, I guess, where the money comes from. What is this? The live pot, $1,420. What am I seeing? What is that?
You are on the landing page. That's just an example landing page. It's actually it's going to be completely revamped as we go through V2 here over the weekend. But it just kind of showed what was pulled this week, but the data is not quite as accurate as the actual platform itself. It's really just the landing page. But if you do need a code, I could blast you one if you don't already have one.
I definitely
because right now you're stuck in because we're in closed beta. We didn't want to open it up because we're still just doing.
Do you want to share
referrals?
Do you want to share yours?
I can drop you a code.
Yeah, why don't?
Well,
why don't
can I do that?
Yours? Yeah, why don't you share yours, and we can see the inner workings of the Grail.
Yeah, let me do that. Give me a sec. Let me find the right tab.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on the gotchas. Did you see kind of like the success on like Solana and some other chains? Is that why kind of like you were like, all right, maybe Avax needs its own type of platform for fun for users?
Well, we did initially. I think about a year ago, I was poking around on Courtyard when they were really in their infancy stages, and I was like, man, we would really love to have something like this on Avalanche. And I had talked to a few people about putting it together with one of our co-founders currently, and we were both just in a place where I was full-time doing marketing growth for a bunch of different projects. He was building his own project, and it's like we just didn't have the time to do it. And then fast forward, like we're kicking ourselves now because it would have been amazing to get that off the ground back then. But fast forward 8 months, 9 months later with Build Games, we were both in a better spot. And let's just take the time to do it and do it right and see where we can improve and make it completely transparent. So that's what kind of kicked us off. So if we kind of look at the site itself, obviously, unfortunately, both are paused at the moment because we are refilling and also making the changes based on user feedback as well as a bunch of data that we collected during the closed beta. But you come in, you obviously can pull your pack, 50 and 100 master pack. And if you open it up, it will show you. Actually, it won't because we are paused. It paused. But where right here would be when it's open, it will show you the live odds, exactly what you're pulling against, what your chances are, and what the values of those cards are within those bins. And as everyone pulls, that gets updated as well. So it's all transparent, all real time. And when you do end up pulling, it'll go to an animation which show you like your card opening sequence. It'll reveal your card. It'll also allow you to see the Chainlink VRF hash, so you can go check to make sure that it was 100% verified. There was nothing funky going on behind the scenes, and that is actually a legit pull. It'll show you what the top hits in the pack are, as well as what cards were recently pulled and who pulled them, and then gives you the option to sell back at 90% of the FMV of the card. That's just the basic packs. But if you go into the battles, I don't know if I can. It'll let me play one.
What exactly is a battle? How do you battle with cards?
So a battle is you basically select which pack you want to battle with, either the $50 or $100 pack. You each buy one of those, or one person buys one, sets up a room, and a challenger could come in and they pay for a pack as well. And then that starts the battle. So what happens is one card will be pulled by each person, and it'll show the total value of the card, and whoever has the higher value gets an additional bonus card as like an extra pack that pulls against those same odds from that pack, and they get the second one for free. But the loser still keeps their card. So in theory, both people could pull a chase card that's worth 4x times the pack cost. The winner gets another bonus pack, which could be another chase or grail card, and everybody wins. So it's a fun experience, and we're having competitions on, who has the most wins, who has the most winning streak. We had a guy come in, I think, with an 11 win streak, which is absolutely insane. Um, but it's just a fun shareable thing. We're going to have the chat system in place. We're going to have all sorts of different ways we're going to do it. We're trying to experiment with different techniques and procedures here.
Interesting. And right now, you currently, is it just Pokemon you're offering, or do you have plans to like? I'm telling you, I think there's a massive need for
Yep.
for companies such as yourself to offer, because not everyone's into Pokemon, and
Sure.
obviously there's a massive market for Pokemon, as every site has done that. But like, I really do feel like old school trading cards, sports cards, baseball, European football, whatever. I really feel it's kind of untapped. Do you have plans to offer that? Only Pokemon? What are we
Yep.
offering here?
Nope, we have plans for all of it. So honestly, our first expansion is into One Piece because that's been in high demand from everybody across all chains, honestly. So we're currently working on that, and then we obviously have plans for sports memorabilia, uh, anything that can be considered a collectible as RWA. We want to integrate into the platform. We've got a pretty detailed roadmap. The reason we started with Pokemon, obviously, is because it's the most popular, most accessible. But because of how much it costs to get one of these platforms up, we had to bootstrap it with personal collection for almost, I would say 60% of what we launched with. So between two of the founders, myself and one other, we had a sizable collection that we basically used to bootstrap the site.
Very cool. Well, that's extremely bullish, and I think right now, um, I would say that it gets me even more excited about the potential for this. We have a few more minutes, so I do want to touch on a few more things with you. So, number one, how is the Avax Labs, and how are they viewing your kind of project? Are they giving, because I'm curious to know, like, what kind of attention does the foundation give to builders building dope stuff? Like for me, I think what you're building is absolutely key, and I think it's fun, and I think apps like yours will eventually bring people from out of chain to Avax because that's something I'd like to do. How is the reception are from the foundation? Do they give support to builders? Are they acknowledging it? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, no, honestly, they have been extremely supportive since day one. We talked to them prior to going into build games, kind of gave them an idea of what we were coming to the table with. They said, "Hey, okay, make it happen, and we'll give you all the support we can." And we managed. I think we finished in the top 5 or 6 in the build games. Shout out to Wrath for crushing us on that one. But from there, we got the small grant that helped us really get above where we needed to go so we could do this closed beta launch. I think without that support, we would have been a couple more months away from even really coming to market. And honestly, we were trying to do it as fast as we possibly could because we wanted to get moving and get things rolling. Since we've been live, the support has been phenomenal. We were in chats with the foundation pretty much multiple times a day. We're currently exploring the idea of doing a small raise. That way we can accelerate to hyper growth, and they're helping facilitate some of those intros and talks to potential investors and VCs. So honestly, I've got nothing but good things to say about how they've been supporting us since we've really come up with the idea.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think it's very important for the foundations to help builders. And again, it goes back to how do we get more people interested in the chain? It starts with getting retail traders interested. How do they get interested? Well, give them opportunity to have fun, make money. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, you need to get the builders and you need to incentivize the builders to come build stuff on chain. If a foundation, and this is not just on AVAX, anywhere, Base, Ethereum, Solana, if they're not showing love, whether it's financially, whether it's resources, introductions to builders, you're done. You're done. So it's really refreshing to hear that AVAX Labs, for instance, is showing that sign of involvement. What do you think? Because I asked earlier, um, what do you think it's going to take to get AVAX to be more of a household name across, the billions of users on chain?
Yep. Yeah, I heard Rath's answer, and I think it was spot on. Honestly, like we've seen the pivot to RWA and institutions a lot from Avalanche. I think that's a smart move from like a long term perspective. But when it comes to bringing like the retail users on chain, it's really up to the community with the support of the foundation to get things moving and get people to come on chain. And I think what Rath is doing with the Grotto is a perfect example of getting gamers to come over and check it out and builders on his platform. And for your Grails, it's the same thing. It brings those consumers in I think Dava Labs has realized that as well, and that's why they're supporting some of those projects that are kicking off. But it's on us, honestly, to not only build but deliver and over deliver and make sure that the users have a good experience. Because honestly, we've seen, and this isn't AVAX specific, but we've seen on multiple chains like the foundations support a bunch of projects, and then those projects just extract and then bounce, and you never hear from them again. And that leaves not only the users who bridged over to check it out a bad experience, but puts a bad experience in the community's mouth. They've done a lot better job on vetting more projects, and this is across all chains. It has gotten better with, money. Money is harder to get, but it's going to the right people, I think, and I think that's what's going to start drawing the retail users over to the chains that don't have enough volume.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta do your vetting. You gotta make sure that the money that is going to the right builders and not just like grifters who are, seeking the foundation money. Now, before we kind of go, I want to just talk milestones for you. So, as we chatted with Wrath, I'm always thinking about long-term visions from teams, from you especially. Obviously, it seems like this site is your baby. You're onto something new. What is your defining idea of success for your site 1 year from now? Where would you like to see things come to fruition?
Yeah, for us, for me, and I think the team agrees here when it comes to the collectibles platform and being in the infancy, like success for us looks like we are not only in the TCG space, but also memorabilia space, as well as doing multiples of the revenue and volume that we're doing now. And not only that, it's being easily accessible to Web2 users, because there's millions of Web2 collectors that obviously don't touch crypto at all, and they're turned off by any token that's involved with the project. They just think that's the trouble area. So, we're going into a token route. We're going purely on collectible, social, and community. So the more users we get from off-chain, I think, helps all our success metrics grow. Because if we're credible, we're transparent, we're up there competing with the larger platforms. Because honestly, like you could say there's probably like 30, 40 gotchas out there, right? That are all operating independently. And people think, oh, well, there's so many already. But like, think about it before there was gotchas. In every state, there's thousands of local card stores. On top of that, there are thousands of vendors, all selling the same things, all operating the same way. But they're all working, as a network, and they're helping people build each other up. And I think that's what we're going to see on chain. And I haven't seen it yet, and I'm thankful for that. But it doesn't seem like it's an us versus them mentality, because there's so much room and so much space and so much demand that we could all work together and help each other grow and keep the collectible space fun. If there ever is a platform that's like putting other platforms down, I think that's a red flag in and of itself, because that goes against, the collectible community and the vibe that should go on. So that's success for us, is customer satisfaction, customer, transparency, and being able to continue to deliver all collectibles to everybody.
Yeah, I love that, and I do feel it's not a winner take all scenario in the digital collectible RWA space, but you do have a great advantage though, because I believe you're firmly planting yourself on AVAX. Communities like to support the communities that they're on. Obviously, that is a huge step in the right direction. So I feel the future is bright, especially if you just kind of push not just Pokemon, which it seems like you're going to push other things like, jerseys, or there's so much
Yep.
you can do if you're willing to vault things like, oh my god, especially the 90s. There's just a plethora of things out there, and I think that those that have an open mind like you are going to do quite well. My friend, 3,400 plus people just tuned in about this. I look forward to seeing how this grows. We're gonna obviously put this as well on Spotify for further distributions and more people know, and we'll have a couple clips made. But dude, thanks for coming on. And like I told him earlier, dude, anything I could do for you, man, please, let's not make this the end of our relationship. I'm here for you. If there's ever some highlights of some products that you putting out there or some high bid, brother, be like, Bill, let's get back on. Got you, bro.
Let's do it. I appreciate it. No, truly, it's been a pleasure talking to you from day one, and I always appreciate the interest in the ecosystem, and I love that the community has just showed out to not only support me, but also you and everyone else who's been on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm starting to really like this AVAX community. AVAX fam, you guys are legit. But my friend Trang Aloha, enjoy the rest of your day, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, that is Trading Aloha. Man, banger content today. Banger content. But we're not done yet. We're done. We are done with the AVAX portion. So I know probably most of you guys are just here for Wrath. And I don't blame you because Wrath was amazing. Trading Aloha is amazing. But we still got some room. If you guys are still down to hang out, we got one more guest. You might like it. It's another gotcha site, but this time on Solana from Rips. But again, since we're going on one more clip from our sponsor. Sorry, not sorry. Your boy has to pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by Send Digital Cash. Send peer-to-peer digital cash all around the world. Privacy features built in. Download the iOS store today. Actually, we don't need to play the clip again. We've already played it. But again, I do have to make sure Send is showing love. Good things happen when you're presenting a sponsor. If you're interested, hit us up on late night on or Bill at late9onbase.com. I would love to have actually. We do supporting sponsors, or we have a presenting sponsor. That's the main thing. But we also have supporting sponsors. BV7X Banker. How dope would it be if we get an Avax project on there? I'm just saying. Hit me up. We do due diligence, of course, but we do accept that. Anyways, let's talk some more gotcha. I think it's time. It's time. This time on Solana. And we are going to bring up the Rips team. Rips. How you doing?
Hey. How you doing, Bill?
We're good. Hold on. We gotta make sure to show you love as well. We're Trading Aloha. I mean, you have tough competition. We've had some banger guests. I'm not gonna lie, but
we love it.
Yeah, I know you do, and I'm excited for to feature you guys. First of all, bro, tell me about Rips. What are we looking at? Because a lot of people are from Avax, but what are we looking at with Rips? Talk to us about Rips on Solana.
Yeah, so the first thing you'll notice, packrips.gg, brand new branding. We literally, like, within the last hour just launched our website that we've been building for a long time. We had a little placeholder site for a while, but we have our own gotcha machines powered by Collector Crypt right there on packrips.gg. But Rips is the token. We've been trading on Solana for about a month now. It was a pump fund launch. That took a little, week and a half or so to bond. And actually, we were one of the first ones to launch, but just kind of had a slow start to get going. And we've really started ripping lately, no pun intended. So it's an exciting time right now. The gotcha machines themselves are a huge win for us. But the thing that makes us unique as a token protocol is that we are actually the only, at least on Solana, the only flywheel protocol built on top of the gotcha machines. So the way that works is we have our token. People buy or sell the Rips token, we earn trading fees. We take all those trading fees and we spend it on the gotcha machines. We rip our own packs. And instead of, there's a lot of models out there. A lot of these projects are basically giving away those packs as like a raffle, giving those cards away to their holders. We decided, you know what? Let's do something where everybody wins. So instead of giving those cards away, we sell them back. We get the buyback offer from Collector Crypt, which you can do right through our packrips.gg site now as well. We'll take that buyback and we will then take all of that money that we get from the buybacks and we will buy and burn the token. So we are the flywheel that feeds itself because, of course, as we buy our own token, we earn more trading fees to then rip more packs to keep the wheel spinning. So that's kind of where we're at right now. That's the model that we have had. I feel like we're kind of becoming like the sailor of charts where, he has his orange dots. We got our green dots. And we are all green on the chart as far as our buybacks go. So it's been pretty exciting. We're building a nice little community. And we actually, as you, Bill, know, are a team that's been together for a long time on a project on Base and really just getting started here on Solana with packrips.gg recently.
Interesting. All right. So we're also going to rip some packs on air. So please, why don't we share your screen and let's get ready on that. But also while we talk to it, so it's interesting. So, and again, I feel packs, collectibles, as I said to Trading Aloha, who's focusing on Avax, I feel it's massive. I think it's not a winner take all mentality, but I think it's one of the most fun experiences you can have in crypto at the moment. So you chose Solana, and I know background of you guys have had experience on Base. Talk to me about the Solana idea. What drew you to the Solana community to make Rips?
Honestly, the first thing and the biggest and most important thing is that's where Collector Crypt is. Collector Crypt is, the pioneer in a lot of ways of the, tokenized trading card marketplace and gotcha, movement that we're seeing right now. They're definitely at the forefront of it anyway. And we really wanted to build where they were. We wanted to build on top of their rails, and we wanted to, try to build a relationship with them and their community members, because just from watching from afar for a while, we just absolutely love everything that they're doing. We love, the team, the people are awesome. They're doing things the right way. They are not like the type of people that made a TCG platform for the crypto. Like, they are TCG people. They are actually experts in the cards that they have. And that was super important to us because, I'm a guy I'm in my mid 30s when 1999 came around.
You're a youngin'.
Oh yeah. And
bro, talk to me when
well,
you're 40s. You got them grays, dog. When you got them grays.
Yeah, I got some grays. Don't you worry.
Respect, bro. Respect.
Kids will do that to you.
Yeah,
But so I was around when the first trading cards came out in 1999. Like, I collected those like everybody else did. We had no idea they were going to turn into the valuable asset class that they are now. If I could go back in time, I'd definitely would have saved a lot of those cards that I played with, right? Or traded or put in the, spokes of my bike wheel. Like, but we kind of always had that love, and it was important to us to come back to a platform where like the people that are building also have that same love, and it's for the right reasons, right? We care about the culture and the cards and the packs themselves. We love Pokemon, but it's more than that. I mean, I'm a big sports fan as well, so we wanted to add all of the gachas that Collector Crypt has. So we now have those. We have Pokemon, we have One Piece, we have sports, and anything else that they add, we will also be able to add as well, because we're using their technology. So
real quick, it makes sense that you want to build in Solana because Collector Crypt is established themselves out there, but there might be 3,400 plus people tuning in. Some people might not even be familiar with what Collector Crypt is. If you could just briefly touch on that, what is Collector Crypt and why have they gotten so big?
Yeah, so Collector Crypt is two things, but one of which is the one that's really blown up lately. So I'll start kind of with the basics. They take actual, real, graded, vaulted cards, like Pokemon cards, for example, right? They could be PSA graded cards in a secure PSA vault, for example, where they are actual cards. And what they did was they tokenized these cards by minting an NFT that represents ownership of each individual card. So then you can buy, sell, trade, gift, own your cards digitally. Well, it's actually represented by a real card. So at any point in time, if you want to buy a tokenized card, you can keep it tokenized, keep it as the NFT that mints, and you can sell it, trade it, list it for resale, just collect it digitally, whatever you want. Or if you want to redeem that NFT through Collector Crypt, they will actually ship the physical card to your doorstep. And from what I've been hearing lately, it's, days, maybe a week or so. At least within the US, quickly. You redeem that, and then you have a card beautifully packaged and protected showing up at your doorstep, so you can absolutely live off of the nostalgia. So this isn't just like a game, like it's real trading of real cards. So that's kind of the basic concept of how tokenized cards work. But the thing that's really blowing up lately, and the portion that we've implemented, is the gacha machines. So for example, you're seeing on our screen here, this is the $50 Elite Pokemon pack. What you do is whatever the cost of the pack is, you pay that in USDC. You can see here the pull rates on the side. There are fair odds, transparent odds up front. You know what the chances are of what you're going to get out of that pack. So each pack is one card that you get, and you could get a card that is a common. In this case, that's an 80% chance on the Elite pack. There's a 75% chance of common on some of the other ones. And that card would be valued in the range of $30 to $60. So you might get a card that's not quite worth as much as what you put in, or you might get a card that's worth a little bit more. But if you get an uncommon card, or especially a rare or an epic card, which again, you can see the odds there, 15%, 4%, 1%, you could end up with a card that is valued at way more than what you put into the gacha machine. So that's kind of where we were interested with this flywheel mechanic of like, hey, let's take our token trading fees and not just do buybacks, but like feed them into this gacha machine first, see what comes out. And yeah, we're going to get a lot of common cards, but when we hit on that rare or that epic card, wow, that's going to be a pretty epic buyback, right? So you can actually see we put in the stock of the cards, for example, right here. So if you click on this, it'll actually pull up and show you the cards that are in there by value. So you could get this $4,000 Dark Gyarados holographic first edition card. You could put in $50 and get out 4,000. Is that super likely? No, but you have a 1% chance of getting a card that's 250 plus, and there's a lot of them here. You keep scrolling, thousands of dollars, and people are hitting on these cards. And really our mindset is you know, the odds are in your favor if you just keep ripping consistently, right? So, you know, if someone's trying to, you know, collect cards, they could do that by just kind of putting in money and seeing what comes out. And actually, I love that aspect because recently I got back into physical pack ripping, and I actually ripped a pack of Pokemon cards with my kids, and it was great. But the return on investment on those cards, like you're going to spend $8-10 per pack, and you're like hoping maybe to get one card out of that pack out of the 10 that might be worth like the $10 that you made. And maybe later in the future, it might be worth more. But also, that's an ungraded raw card. To get the card graded, you have to send it to PSA or Beckett or, you know, CGC, whatever the card grading companies are that you want to use. You have to wait months because they're backlogged right now. And you have to pay like $40, $50, $80 per card to get it graded. So yeah, maybe it comes back at a PSA 10 and it's worth thousands of dollars and you made profit, but maybe it's not. Like maybe you paid $40 to grade a card that's worth $30. And okay, cool. Hold on to it. Be a collector. That's great. It'll probably come back eventually. But these cards are all already graded. So like the ROI just makes sense if you're collecting and you want graded cards. Like you can get a card that's already graded. You don't have to pay to grade it, and it's instantly deliverable to your house. And then, you know, the gotcha element makes it kind of a fun, you know, thing to do if you want to kind of take your chances and see what you get. And you know, there's a lot of cards in here that are, you can be a high roller, right? There is a $2,500 Pokemon pack. You know, that ain't cheap, but you pull an epic card, you're getting a $10,000 plus card. But look what's in here: $65,000 Magikarp, $52,000 Vaporeon,
Real quick,
Charizard, two of them.
With these gotchas, are you able to? I think it's true. Are you able to redeem? Like, say you get a rare. Are there immediate offers right away to sell
Yes.
it for every card, so you're not stuck with something? There's always liquidity, I guess I can say.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the cool part, right? So Collector Crypt themselves will give you an instant buyback offer, and that is also part of our site because we built that right in through Collector Crypt. So you can do that with us as well, and you will get a buyback offer for every card that you pull. And it tells you here what the card sell back in our case is. Just, you know, like to use those words. You sell it back to them. You get 93% of the insured value if you sell back a card from this mythic pack. That goes down as low as 85%. With the less expensive packs, right? So let's say I put in $50 and I pull a $1,000 card. And these card values are based on the insured value from Collector Crypt. And that's not made up. That is actually what cards are selling for right now, not like what they're being listed for on eBay. And they're like, what are people paying for these cards right now? And that's always being updated. So this is an accurate amount of value for the card. So I could put in $50. I get a $1,000 card. I could keep it. I could hold on to it. I could list it myself on their marketplace for sale at, you know, the full $1,000, or maybe try for a little more. Or I can just accept the instant 85% sell back right off the bat right now, and I can get $850 instantly transferred right back to me. And you can do that every single time over and over again with all your cards. Now, if you go to the Collector Crypt website itself and you go there, they actually let you hold on to the cards for up to, I believe it's 72 hours before you decide if you want to accept their instant buyback offer or not. But they also just implemented lifetime buybacks because, frankly, these have become so popular that so many people are using these machines that they are struggling to keep up with the inventory demand, which is a good problem to have. And just recently, Collector Crypt put out that they are spending $2 million per week to buy cards to put into these machines. $2 million a week. So
but they're also raking in probably a lot more.
Oh, they're raking, right? So of course, you know, it's a good model for them. They're buying cards. They're putting them in this machine. People are spending money to hopefully get that card. And if they do, they'll buy it back at only 85, 90% of what it's worth. And it'll go right back in the machine for somebody else to keep chasing it too, if you accept the buyback. So that's the thing about those buybacks. They kind of want you to do that because it keeps their inventory high. If you sell the card right back to them, it goes right back into the gotcha machine. So somebody else can start chasing it too, which is cool. And that's what our model is built on as well. So we accept the buyback. And we have other future plans in store, but for right now, we are accepting the buyback, feeding the flywheel, and then those cards go right back for somebody else to chase. So, you know, if we get that you know, shadowless first edition Charizard, you know, good thing is we're going to sell it back, make a bunch of money, do an awesome buyback, and someone else can go chase it and they can get it next.
So right now is the gotcha, because this is fantastic. I mean, and by the way, guys, everything that we say on Late Down Base, I think it should be clear. Nothing is financial advice. I just bring on guests who I think are really cool. I personally like Rips. But nothing we say on this show is financial advice. Have to make that clear. Some people,
of course,
think, you know, it's just disclaimer. Do your own research. But I think this is really interesting to me because, you know, obviously there's people out there who have sites. Like, I think if you have to have a gotcha site, you have to have the ability for people to do something. And I think, I think Trading Aloha is doing the same thing, allow you to rip packs. Like, I think as a user, it's not just enough to be like, hey, here's a pack, I can buy it, which is cool. But I think it's like, I want to like spin my chance and test my luck. And so right now, is the gotcha part on your site live?
Yes, it is, as of just today.
So
Today's the
let's do
day.
it. Dude, first of
Let's
all,
do
that's a big accomplishment, because like I don't know too many projects that have that ability, and it's probably not easy to do. But let's spin some packs. Let's show this live
right.
for 3,500 people. How does this work? Let's test our luck.
Okay, so one thing of note, right? So I mentioned those inventory challenges that these guys are having. Sometimes the machine is out of inventory. There is a way to get through that. You can do this option here to put on turbo mode. This is done through them, and we have it implemented here as well. If you do enable turbo mode, which we'll try to do it without, but we'll probably have to enable it. What that does is you can still rip a pack. It'll let you use the machine, but rather than letting you choose to keep any of the cards, it'll automatically sell the card back for you if you pull a common card. Because that's actually where they tend to have the most inventory challenges, because that's where the machine needs to have enough common cards in there for this ratio here, 75% pull rate, right? To make sense, right? For the math, to do the math, right? So you can rip a pack even if it's out of inventory, typically by using the turbo mode. So we're probably gonna have to do that. That's just a little disclaimer up front. We'll do a couple of these $50 packs, right? So let's see if we can hit a rare, hopefully even an epic. We have hit a couple rares so far. We have not yet hit an epic, but man, would it be awesome to get one of these cards right here. So let's see what happens again. Yeah, dude. So I'll try to do it without turbo mode. It'll probably say, hey, dude, the machine's out of inventory. And then I'll turn on turbo mode and it'll work. Yep, machine's empty. Okay, cool. Except it's not. Turn on turbo mode. Do this again. What do we get? Got to do my wallet permissions here. You probably can't see that on the side, but it's things are happening over here. I'm super safe, so I put in a password protected thing. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Let's see. It's going to rip the pack. And again, probably a common pull. Yep, we got a common pull. So instant sell back complete, right? So that's what turbo mode does. Here's the card that I got, and it ended up being a common, right? So, okay, cool. That happens sometimes. But hey, it's a 1999 Pokemon card. It's an OG.
Is there an
Pokemon
offer right
card.
now for this? Like, could I sell it?
So this was already done. So the sellback just took place. So it's a common. And I think we'll add some more. This is again day one of the new site. We'll add some more context in here when it actually tells you, like, here is the amount of what the buyback was. That does happen on Collector Crypt. When you don't get a common, you actually will see, like, here's your buyback offer. Do you want to accept that offer or not? And then you can just keep the card, or you can accept the USDC offer.
So
and again,
real
all
quick,
of
is this all?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Going through Collector Crypt, I guess, in a way. Like, for instance, say I wanted to redeem this physical. So right now, Collector Crypt has this in stock.
Yes, correct. So if you're doing it through our site, it is being done via Collector Crypt. We are using their rails. So if you were to keep the card, and if if they had inventory, you didn't need to have turbo on, and you could choose to keep that common card. Or if you use turbo and you pull a uncommon or better, you could choose to accept that instant buyback offer, or you could just keep it. And then if you connect that wallet to Collector Crypt, you can then redeem the NFT there to have it shipped to your doorstep. Or you could just use their marketplace and list it for sale yourself at whatever price you want.
So my question to you is this: how do you differ from Collector Crypt? Because again, say I'm a novice. Obviously, if Collector Crypt is providing it, like, how are you just like the interface for someone to use Collector Crypt? Are you adding to Collector Crypt? How does Rips work? Is it just flywheel? Like, how do you separate yourself from Collector Crypt if they have the inventory?
Yeah, great question. A little bit of both. So we're using their inventory, we're using their technology. However, we also have our token, right? So we want to put some utility into effect for that token. One of the things that we just talked about that we're really announcing, I guess, now, but there's some info here. XP rewards are coming. So this is something that Collector Crypt does, where on their site it's different, but you can, you earn a certain amount of points for each pack that you rip, and then eventually you earn enough points so you can get a free pack to rip. Cool, that's awesome. We want to do something different because we have a token that we want to incorporate. So we have the Rips token. It's a buyback flywheel token. Cool, awesome. And we have our own thoughts on marketplace for us to be able to kind of inventory some of our own cards from what we get from these machines and maybe sell them back to our users if necessary. But the big thing and the first thing is the XP rewards. So right now we are buying and burning all of the tokens that we buy, right? We don't keep any of them. We're not adding to our treasury. We are just burning every token that we buy back. In the future, we are still going to do burns, but we're going to save some of those RIPS tokens for rewards. So as you use our site, and only if you use our site and you rip packs here, once we implement the XP rewards, you'll have a profile where you can earn XP over time from every pack that you rip. You'll stack up XP rewards, and then at a certain periodicity, whether it's weekly or whatever it ends up being, we'll find the right periodicity as we announce it. Instead of burning all of those tokens that we buy back, we're going to have a bunch of them set aside to distribute to people that use our site. So you will actually get airdropped RIPS tokens for participating. And you'll be in the flywheel then. So once you get in, you have RIPS tokens. We're actually going to be implementing further holder benefits as well, certain special perks that you can only have on this site if you hold our token. So really building out.
Rips, you there?
To make this the platform that people want to be on is really what we're working on next. And that's where the XP rewards come. And then of course the live streams as well, which we're doing with you, and we do our own every week as well.
Do you so when you rip the token or when you rip the cards, the fees are going to collect your crypt, right? So are you then generating your revenue through the token itself?
So yes, we're generating our own revenue through the token itself. We have our buyback model takes 90% of the fees that we generate and uses those to rip packs. The other 10% of those fees go to us to build out our own revenue. However, up to this point, we've actually taken all of that revenue and just put it right into the flywheel. We haven't kept any of that. Once this thing is really spinning bigger and bigger and bigger, and we don't need to contribute that extra to the flywheel for it to really sustain itself, then okay, cool. We'll start taking more of our own revenue. For now, however, we're really all about just feeding this flywheel and getting things going. I don't care about making money myself yet. There's a time for that. Right now, I want my people to win. I want the holders, the community, the people that have put their trust in us, that are buying RIPS and using our platform. I want them to win. So that's our first focus.
Is there I guess a strategy involved? Because with trading fees, it's one of those things when the token's trading well, it's great, but sometimes it doesn't. Is there an idea of how to sustain yourself revenue wise if the trading volume is low?
Yeah, absolutely. No, first, we earn trading fees on buys and sells. So whether people are buying or selling, cool. We earn money. Of course, we'd rather people only buy, but that's not the reality. And then again, once we start to not burn all of our revenue and distribute it back to the community, that will help as well. And then also, can't speak too much on future plans quite yet because we're still working some things out as far as our marketplace goes. But we will have our own form of a marketplace where we can offer some of these cards that we pull from these packs to our holders. And then there's also a potential for a subscription model and things like that for people to have access to buy discounted cards from us. Now, again, we got to be careful with that. We don't want to create more inventory problems for Collector Crypt. And we've talked a lot with that team, and we really want to have good synergy with them. So I don't want to have all of the cards pull out of their machines and have all of them get bought instantly by our holders, and then they never go back into the machine and we're killing their inventory. So, things like time limits, like let's say maybe the cards we pull are only available for holders to buy for like 24 hours. And if it's not bought then we sell it back to Collector Crypt. Or, tiered subscriptions where you can only buy a certain amount of discounted cards per week or month or whatever. And then, if you want to pay more, you can maybe have access to unlimited cards or things like that. But there's mitigations in place, auction systems, things like that, just to kind of find the right balance of making sure that our holders can have good value. And this is like a pass to have access to something. You hold RIPS, you have some benefits, but also in that model with either subscriptions or, reselling ourselves on our own marketplace, then we have the opportunity to add a slight fee. We don't want to take a lot of people's money, but just a small fee just to generate our own revenue so that we can self-sustain. Because what we really want, to your point, is at some point, right, every token volume starts to slow down eventually. And I will say with, relatively low market cap, low volume thus far, we've been able to really kind of keep this thing going pretty well. So I'm excited for where we're going to go as the volume picks up. But we know, you don't always keep volume high forever. So we want to make sure we have that treasury ready so that we can kind of self-sustain and feed the flywheel ourselves during those downtimes, or make revenue in other ways, like, being able to resell the cards and collect some amount of fees or some subscription model, things like that. So those are kind of in like the phase 2 and 3 roadmap plans. Big phase 1 was get the gacha into our site, get our branding right. So yep, we're Rips, we're the Rips token, but you see this is all new branding. We want to be packrips.gg. And by the way, I couldn't believe that domain was available. It's pretty sick. And you know, so next steps will be adding the utility to the flywheel beyond just the buyback and burn model. And that is actually kind of coming pretty soon in the pipeline. We're excited to announce further things there. But first thing right here, XP rewards are coming. So that'll kind of incentivize people to want to participate in our ecosystem, which will drive our volume. And then by the time we need to evolve and adapt, we'll be ready to do so.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Well, listen, we have 3,500 plus people tuning in. It's great to see the attention you're putting on to this project. It clearly is showing that you guys are in this for the long run. You guys are here to build. Why don't we do one more pack and then we go? Come on, baby. I feel rares coming. Let's go.
Dude. We'll see what happens. And again, that's the name of our game, right? Most of the time you're going to get commons, but if you pull enough cards, right? If you pull 100 cards and you have a 1% chance every time of getting an epic, that results in like a 60% chance of at least getting one epic during that.
Roll the dice. Give me an epic.
So let's do it. Let's see what happens. All right. So it's going to make me do my wallet connect thing again. Sorry, it'll take a second. I have some pretty significant safety measures here.
Manifest an epic. Oh, that would be dope to clip. Come on, epic.
Another common. That's all right. It's a cool looking common though. I got a 1999 and a 2000.
Hey, listen,
so I got some nice vintage cards.
It's still a winner in my book. It's still a winner in my book. But listen, the Rips team, I appreciate you coming on. And like I said, we'll have a few clips, but I'm excited to see kind of how this grows. And I love the commitment. I love that you're building on Solana. And like I said, man, anytime you want to come on the show, any insights, hit me up, brother. I'm here for you.
Sounds good, man. You know, we love coming on with you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right, guys. That is Pax Rips. Shout out to them. Shout out to all the guests today. I am a fan of Avax. I'm a fan of the Pax Rips team on Solana. I'm a fan of gotchas, collectibles. We do a newsletter every Friday. So, you know, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. We'll be posting that out, but we'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about, you know, my bullish thesis on collectibles. We'll talk about, you know, the guests that come on the show. But I think this has been a great show. 3,500 plus people tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please follow our channel. We also have our official media account, late LNTV HQ. Late Down on Base is me. But yeah, I think, you know, Bitcoin might be crashing, but the future is bright for the builders in this industry. And I'm excited to see how things grow. We're off tomorrow. We're only on Monday through Thursday. But as always, we appreciate each and everyone tuning in. We will be back on Monday. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Catch you all later. Cheers.